Hello, everybody. It's time for the week 7. Week 7, is that right? Week 7, Westside Fantasy update. I'm Jim. Let's get right down to business. All right. Game 1 featured the Flaming Homers against DeBiz. And the bad news for DeBiz is that the Brady led Patriots were playing the pretty much completely unled Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that meant that Brady and Welker hooked up for a whole lot of points. And when you add to that 25 from Deshaun Jackson, 20 from Ryan Grant, 19 from D'Angelo White, 23 from Indianapolis defense, it was a big night for the Flaming Homers, 162 points. DeBiz came up with 102. A lot of single-digit performances out there. Although the New York Jet defense did their part by scoring 26 points, but ultimately it was a 60-point loss. Flaming Homers go to 4-3. DeBiz goes to 3-4, and there you go. So it's funny because have you noticed this year the NFL is really the haves and the have-nots. You got all these good teams kind of kicking everyone's butt, and then all these really weak teams just losing all the time. Well, this week, and maybe for the last few weeks, it seems like we haven't really had a lot of close games. This week, the closest game was 9 points, and it really wasn't even that close because, well, I'll get to that. Anyway, second game, Smell This and You Betcha. You Betcha is on a 5-game winning streak. They did not start off the season well at 0-2, but now at 5-2, You Betcha is leading the Superman division and looking really sharp. I mean, Breeze, you would expect him to be, on the team that he's playing for, to be doing very well, and in fact, they are. Got 40 from Breeze, 27 from Ricky, the surprising Ricky Williams, and then 18 from a couple of guys, including Thomas Jones. 0 from the Cleveland defense, though, and it kind of begs the question. Why would you put the Cleveland defense in under any circumstances? I mean, honestly, there had to be a better team than Cleveland. And 0. Defenses can't go negative, I don't think. So this is the closest that a defense can come to bringing shame to their family. And anyway, bad move. But fortunately for them, they were playing Smell This, which has now dropped to 2-5 after a promising 1-1 start, was it? I don't know. 2-1? 2-1 start. So Peyton Manning, the other excellent quarterback in the league, 41 points, 16 from the Cincinnati defense, and then a mixed bag of not so great results led to only 107 points, including 0 from Sean Ryan, who apparently plays professional football for the Chiefs, who apparently play professional football as well. So again, no shame bringing, but still 0 is pretty low. So 137 to 107, You Betcha wins and takes a lead in the Superman division by 1 game. Third game was just an utter blowout. Ghetto Superstar just spindled, mutilated, and tore Smack Attack 3. Smack Attack 3's had some bad luck. They have an average strength of schedule of 140. So despite their 2-5 record, they've had a tough go of things because they've been playing some tough opponents. Anyway, Phillip Rivers got him 46 points. Carson Palmer countered, "Will allow me to retort," is what Carson Palmer said. And he retorted with 53 points. How about that? In addition to that, Marquez Colston, Vincent Jackson, Steve Slayton, Lawrence Maroney, Miles Austin, and the San Diego defense all got double digits, including 29 from Miles Austin. A man barely alive. We can rebuild him, make him better than he was. Better, stronger, faster. Many of you will not get that reference. Over on the Smack Attack side, just a little too much of this. Brian Westbrook, 1.3 points. Leon Washington, 0.6 points. Kellen Winslow, 0.9 points. That ain't going to stir the soup or something. But it adds up to 105 points. And honestly, regardless of what Smack Attack may have done, Ghetto Superstar posted 186. There's no beating that. Except last week, I guess I would have beaten him by 6 points. But usually there's no beating that. Liam Neeson and the Invisible Cows. The Invisible Cows are having a sort of a lost season. I think the name in the picture of the cow kind of jinxed him a little bit because it's a creepy cow face. I don't know what that's about. But the Invisible Cows dropped to 0-7. Jake's team is really just kind of hapless this year. We need some help. He posted 89 points. Liam Neeson got back on the winning side of the ledger with 129.5 points, 52 from Romo, just when you thought you'd heard everything you were going to hear from that guy and kind of wished you did. And Chad Ochocinco, which Doesn't mean 85, it means 8-5, which is stupid when you think about it. Um, 23 points. Another guy you thought you probably heard everything you were going to hear from and wished you had. But it adds up to 129, and that's enough for the win, keeping Liam Neeson in third place in the Superman division. Jolly Rogers and Bretta is. This was an interesting one because Tommy was behind by, I think, 34 points last night, and all he had was the Philly defense. And there was a point in the game where, at the end, where Washington, incompetent as they are, if they had thrown an interception that was run back for a touchdown, Tommy would have won by 1/10 of a point. But instead, Washington scored a touchdown, which I know. Who knew they could score a touchdown? So anyway, it didn't happen. Big Ben only got Tommy 23 points. Philly's defense did what they could. They got 25 points. I mean, gee, what do you want? Over on the other side, Aaron Rodgers had a great day, 44 points in a crushing win of the Cleveland Browns, which goes back to one of my key rules, which is never use a Cleveland Brown. New England defense, 22 points. Ronnie Brown, just 10. So Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown, I think, switched uniforms yesterday. So Bretta climbs to 3-4, and the Jolly Rogers drop to 4-3. And finally, Ruff the Passer and the Eye. Ruff the Passer is undefeated this year, 131 points. I think it's worth pointing out, and I'm not knocking, I'm not bashing, I'm not hating on Ruff the Passer, but they've had by far the weakest schedule. The average opponent's putting up about 100 points a week. Can't take away the fact that Ruff the Passer is 7-0, and I think probably pretty close to locking down a playoff spot at this point. Everybody else has at least 2 losses. So Matt Shaw with 39, and let's see, 24 from Cedric Benson. Boy, that was some revenge. He was a Bengal player playing the Bears, and I don't know. I don't think anyone really cares. The Eye just kind of had mediocre results across the board. 20 from the New Orleans defense, 14 from Hakeem Nicks. But 26 from Matt Ryan. You'd want a little more from him if you really were expecting to win. 106 points doesn't quite do it. That drops the Eye to 3-4 and raises the Ruff the Passer's lead to 2 games over Ghetto Superstar in the Batman division and 3 games over the Jolly Rogers. So the way it looks right now, if the season were to end today, which really isn't very likely, but if the season were to end today, Ruff the Passer and You Betcha would be the division winners. The playoff teams would be Ghetto Superstar, the Flaming Homers, Liam Neeson, and the Jolly Rogers. Next week, though, all that could change. Flaming Homers play You Betcha in a battle for first in the Superman division. Whichever team wins that one would look to be in first place in that division unless Liam Neeson scores a heck of a lot of points. Smell This goes up against Liam Neeson, so that's pretty much a win for Liam Neeson. Smack Attack 3 and the Jolly Rogers looks like a good battle. Invisible Cows versus DeBiz. The Cows have got to get something going. All I can say is that so far they've truly been invisible. Jake, you better do something about that. Bretta is in the Eye. That's one that's going to determine which of them goes over 500 and which one of them drops, or which one climbs back to 500 and which one of them drops. And finally, Ruff the Passer and Ghetto Superstar. That should be a shootout. Ghetto Superstar scoring a lot of points. In fact, they have the most points in the league. So Ruff the Passer, going to have to come up with probably a few more points than average. But you got to say, he's doing well. We got 7-0, 875 points. Ghetto Superstar is scoring the most points, and that's saying something. But anyway, the races are shaping up. The Superman division is extremely tight. There are 4 teams within 2 games and no clear winner there. And Batman looks like it's going to belong to Ruff the Passer, but, there's still 6 more games. So you never can tell. All right, guys, that's it. We'll talk to you soon, and don't forget to set your lineups. Bye.